And welcome back. At Bronx Community College, at the Office of Veteran and Military Resources, provides services for veterans, current service members, and their dependents who are enrolled. The office takes a proactive approach in actually assisting student veterans, introducing them to the resources they need to be successful from college application all the way up to graduation. Well, what can interested members expect once getting enrolled? Here now to share a little bit more is the coordinator of the Veteran and Military Resources at Bronx Community College, John Rosa. And we're also being joined by Bronx Community College veteran alum and current New York University MBA student, Nick Gradowski. And thank you so much for joining us both.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
John, I'll let you start off and give us a little bit more of an introduction into this program. Obviously, a program that benefits those who are in the military and veterans.
Well, we're in office. We're in the low hall building when the school is actually open, because right now we're doing everything remotely. But under normal circumstances, students usually reach out to the office as incoming students, either as freshmen or transfer. We deal with the admissions office, so we get those applications and we help the students file for financial aid and also finish up their admissions application. We request their DD-214s, their high school diplomas, their high school transcripts, their college transcripts from many other colleges that they usually go to, because they have the ability of going to college while they are in the military, and their JST, their joint service transcripts, which is basically their military transcripts. And all of this is then submitted to us, and then we work with the admissions office. So that's one phase. And once they're in the school, then they usually sit down with me so that we can figure out what benefit they're eligible for. Usually for veterans, it's Chapter 33, which is right now the Forever GI Bill. And those individuals then get to file a certificate form, which is authorizing us, the college, to request the benefits in their name. And then the student sits down with me for a discussion of what major it is that they want, because we have a variety of different majors. We have the AA, which is Associates of Arts, the AS, which is Associates of Science, and then we have the AAS, which is Associates of Applied Sciences, and even certificate programs. So we kind of go for about an hour trying to go back and forth to figure out what their future goals are, so that I can kind of like determine with them what it is that they're going to be doing with us at Bronx. Then we also help them with financial aid, like I stated before. And then I go over all the different benefits that the college has. We have the personal counseling department, which is right upstairs. We have the lounge, which is right across from my office, and they have coffee, they have computers that they have access to. They have a smart board, and they usually watch Netflix and stuff between classes. So there's a lot of different services that we have on campus. I mean, but that's the initial introduction to the school. So they kind of feel a little comfortable. Once they're at the school, where to go to, kind of meet other individuals that are at the lounge, and that way they initiate, they have a good feeling about us at the beginning, and that's right. How it starts.
Let me get Nick in and talk to him about, Nick, you were a participant in the program. Talk to us about why you chose this program and why you felt it was so beneficial to you.
Yeah, so when I first started at BCC, this was in 2016, I had just ETS'd. It was actually under Betsy Bonton as the prior director there. So I wasn't there at John's inception. I was actually called for deployment while I was in school in mid 2017. But I chose BCC because it was close to me, first of all, so that's convenient, but also they had good staff. I had heard, and I look up all my professors before I take any classes. There were good reviews, and I saw this as a good stepping stone to get me through my undergraduate degree and get me focused on my graduate studies.
Yeah. John, when you talk about people like Nick, I mean, obviously finding that right fit is important. And he talks about literally having somebody in his camp that basically understands where he's been. How much does that mean to those who've been in the service?
Most military individuals, like I'm also a veteran, only 4 years. Nick was there quite a longer time, and I was much younger when I joined right after high school. But when you come out, there's this feeling that time stood still and it went by. I mean, you stood still and time went by, because you come back and the music is different. Your friends you may be different also, and the friends that you had may not understand you because you may have experienced a lot of different difficulties and challenges while you were there, and you grew. So now you're trying to find your way in the civilian world. And then once you find that you want to go to school and you go to college, you see that there are a lot of other veterans in a similar situation as you, that bonding, that whole we work together thing that you learn, I guess, from boot camp. You see that in everyone that's in that lounge because they all went through it just like you did. And you are all acknowledge each other's experience, because not everyone goes through the same experiences once you're in there, but you kind of understand what the other person is going through, and that transition back into the civilian world. It's good to know that someone else went through that process and is going it through with you, and that you help each other out. So it's a place so that they can talk. They could you know make fun of each other a little bit, because the veterans kind of do that, but that's part of the culture. But it's done in a nice way. It's not done in a mean spirited way, even though outsiders may see it that way. But we're really just making fun of each other, having a good time. So they feel that camaraderie that they had in the military right in that lounge. So that makes them want to stay in the school a little longer,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Nick, how easy was it for you to make that transition back into civilian life? And talk to us a little bit about how the program really helped you in that way.
Yeah, well, I guess to kind of get an understanding, I graduated high school in 2006, and I went over to BMCC right after, and I was not ready for that. I was kind of just more focused on having fun, kind of just doing my own thing. And needless to say, I did not do very well at my first attempt at college. So I ended up joining the military. That went well. But I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in nursing. I was a medic when I was in the Army, and I enjoyed that thoroughly. But I also always had kind of a passion for business, finance, just strategic business relations. And so I went into liberal arts at BMCC. I mean at BCC, and I found that it was just so much easier, especially when you're doing it with students and colleagues who are kind of from the same cloth. And it was just all around. I mean, this sounds kind of cliche. It was just really supportive, and I felt very comfortable there. And I think that's probably one of the bigger facts, or one of the bigger factors of whether a student succeeds or not. That's a pretty big indicator of whether a student will succeed, is if he feels supported. And I felt completely supported at the program there.
Yeah. John, we got a little under 2 minutes, but I want to get an opportunity to hear from you about students right now, or somebody that can potentially want to be a part of the program. What do they have to do, and what's their eligibility requirements?
Anyone could apply to the BCC. I mean, as long as you have a GED or a high school diploma, you're accepted into the campus. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, obviously, in our student population, they have to be a veteran or a dependent or a spouse of a veteran. Those are called Chapter 35 beneficiaries. Those are people who have their father or mother's benefits, or a husband or wife. The Chapter 33 of veterans, those are people who were discharged or dishonorably discharged from the military. That's Chapter 33, what we call now the Forever GI Bill. And even Chapter 31, which is vocational rehab. And they would identify themselves on the application. That's the most important thing, so that we can find them out of all the hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants who try to come into the City University of New York, because Bronx Community College is part of the City University of New York. And then the second part that I would say would be reaching out to our office via email right now. They usually give us a phone call and call up the office. But right now, the best way of communicating with us is by email. And they could, my email is john.rosa@bcc.cuny.edu. And just send me an email introducing themselves. And then that way I would take it on from there and introduce myself and the office and the services. And it's really that simple. And then once that conversation starts, then we would start finding out what it is that the individual really wants to do, why they apply to college, what are their future ambitions. Because some students want to go to school just for the 2-year level and then go to work. Some students want to go to 2-year school and then transfer over to a 4-year school. And then they even want to go to a master's degree, which is what Nick is doing right now. So everyone has a different pathway that they want to take. And that's where that conversation comes in. It's important to understand what they want, because I have to meet them where they are. And once I get an idea of who that person is, what their experiences are, then we can move on together, and they feel that, you know, I'm on their side, and we're a team, and I know what I'm talking about, and then hopefully that will make them feel comfortable so that they could open up and also share other things that are going on, because it's not just all academic, it's also the personal individual situations that they're going through, and you don't open up about that just to anybody. And once that confidence is there, hopefully there's a feeling that, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about, he cares about us, and then that slowly starts evolving into a relationship. And then the whole point is to have them succeed. That's really, if they succeed, we succeed, and that's really the most important part.
Absolutely. We understand that teamwork makes the dream work. And John, thank you so much for being with us. Nick, thank you so much for being with us and sharing as well. And best wishes as you continue to go forward.
Take care,
Thank you
guys.
so
Thank you
much.
for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. And I want to make sure now, if you want more information, please don't hesitate to go to the Bronx Community College website. There you can find out more information about this program and a whole lot more. Stay with us. We got more on this program. We're not going anywhere. Open continues right after this.